the revision of chapter number 5. Today is 20th Feb 2021. I request you please be continue in the revision part. First, we are seeing from the geography and economic parts revision of all the chapter in the notes form. So notes for the chapter number 5 on 20th Feb 2021. In the topic revision, we are taking natural vegetation and wildlife. In my previous regular video, in revision video, already I explained this chapter to you with your all the doubts and difficulties. Now we are going to see this chapter in a gestate note form. Please copy down the notes from the slide presentation and continue this revision. First, what we are going to see in this whole chapter. So this 12th topic we are going to see from this part. First we are going to have introduction, then natural vegetation, factors affecting diversities in flora and fauna, that's the 3.1 relief and land. After that, soil, climate, temperature, photoperiod, precipitation and ecosystem. The fourth point is talking about the types of vegetation. In that, the following types of vegetation we are going to see: tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, the thorn forests and scrubs, mountains and mangrove forests, at the last wildlife, and the main and very important topic of this chapter, conservation, protection of natural vegetation and wildlife. That means the flora and fauna, and lastly the interesting aside for you about migrating birds. Moving further, the introduction part. In the introduction part we are seeing India is one of the 12 mega biodiversity country in the world, which about 47,000 plant species. India occupies 10th place in the world and 4th place in Asia in plant diversity. Point number 3 is speaking there are about 15,000 flowering plants in India, which accounts for 6% of the world's total number of flowering plants. The country has many non-flowering plants such as algae and fungi. Next, fourth point stating that the India also have 89,000 species of animal as well as a rich variety of fish in the fresh and in the salt water, that means the marine water. Next, point number 1, natural vegetation. So what is the meaning of natural vegetation? So natural vegetation refers to plant community which has grown naturally without human interference or human aid and has been left undisturbed by human for a long time. This is termed as a virgin vegetation, which means untouched vegetation. Thus cultivated crops and the fruits orchard from part of vegetation but not natural vegetation. The vegetation, which is virgin vegetation, is purely Indian, is known as endemic and indigenous species. But those who have come from outside India are termed as exotic plant. The term flora is used to denote plants of a particular region or a period. Similarly, the species of animals are referred to as fauna. This huge diversity in flora and fauna kingdom due to the factor given below. So what are the factors? Let's check out. On the slide you are observing the factors affecting diversity in flora and fauna. So what are the factors? First we are going to see about relief. In relief we are having land. Land affects the natural vegetation directly and indirectly. Fertile land is generally devoted to agriculture and the rough terrain areas, where grassland and woodlands develop give shelter to variety of wildlife. So first, land in relief feature is very important, which is affecting the diversity of flora and fauna. The second one is soil. Soil also play a very important role. That means also vary over the space. Different types of soil support the different types of vegetation. The sandy soil of the desert support the cactus and the thorn bushes, but while wet and marshy and deltaic soil supports to mangrove and deltic vegetation. The hill slope and some depth of the soil have conical trees. So like that you can understand by this how the relief and land in the relief one and soil is very important and factors which are affecting the diversity in flora and fauna. Next, climate. In climate we are going to see about temperature and photoperiod, which means sunlight. The character and extent of vegetation are mainly determined by the temperature and the soil. On the slope of Himalaya and the hills of peninsula above the height of 915 meters, the fall in the temperature affects the types of vegetation and its growth and change it from tropical to the subtropical temperature, temperate and alpine vegetation. So this classification of vegetation already we had seen. I am not going to move into detail one. Just remember the second part. First we had seen about the relief, in that the land and soil we had seen. Now in the climate we are talking about temperature, photoperiod, and after that precipitation we are going to see. B. Photoperiod. Sunlight. The variation of the sunlight at different places is due to the differences in the latitude and the altitude, season and duration of the day. Due to the longer duration of the sunlight, tree grows faster in summer. Next, C. Precipitation. In India, almost the entire rainfall is brought by the advancing monsoon. That means from June to September and retreating monsoon. Areas of heavy rainfall have more dense vegetation as compared to the other of less rainfall areas. As in the early part we were talking about cactus, thorny bushes, conical trees, the precipitation also is a very important one, because without water, without rainfall, the plants can't survive. The forests are renewable resources and play a major role in enhancing the quality of environment. They play a major role and they give us number of the things, right, which are called as the important and the significant. So let's check out the point. Forests modify local climate. Point number one, they are helping us in a many. Control soil erosion, regulate stream flow, support a variety of industries, provide livelihoods for many communities and offer panoramic or scenic view for recreation. That means they are developing a very good aesthetic. Forest control, wind force and cause rainfall. They provide humus to the soil and shelter to the wildlife. Except in some inaccessible regions like Himalaya, the hilly regions of central India and the desert area, the vegetation of most area has been modified at some place or replaced or degraded by the human occupancy. Third, ecosystem. All the plant and animal in an area are interdependent and interrelated to each other in their physical environment, thus form an ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? Already it's clear to you. At your primary level to up to now, number of the time this terminology you understood. Human beings are also an integral part of ecosystem. They utilize the vegetation and the wildlife. The greed of human being leads to overutilization of these resources. They cut the trees and kill the animals, create an ecologically imbalance. As a result, some plant and animals have reached the verge of extinction. So, dear cadet, please remember this thing. Due to our various activities, we are disturbing and making the imbalance and ecological system. A very large ecosystem on a land having the distinct types of vegetation and animals' life is called as biome. Moving further, let's check out the types of vegetation. Tropical, evergreen forest, tropical, deciduous forest, thorn forest, mountain forest and mangrove forest. This all already in regular video I told you, make a tabular form and write all this information, so it's going to be very easy to understand all this. First, tropical evergreen forest. So, these forests are found in the heavy rainfall. First, we are going to see about the rainfall here, right? This is the rainfall. Then, the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat islands group of Lakshadweep, Andaman, Nicobar, upper parts of Assam, Tamil Nadu, these are the areas where these forests are found. And these trees heights are very great height, and the reason is warm and wet throughout the year. So it's called as evergreen forest because there is no definite time for them to shade the leaf. So they always appear green. Next, some about their trees: ebony, mahogany, rosewood, rubber and cinchona. While in examination of periodic as well as in the PT2, that means the pre-board 2, I had placed this question, number of the student has written the incorrect answer. So please see this point, which trees are under tropical evergreen forest and which are in tropical deciduous, and then write. Some have written about the animals which the question was not asking to you. So please go through it properly. Next, tropical deciduous forest. Again, here you are seeing the rainfall. They are called as monsoon, as they were called as evergreen or a tropical rainforest. The height is given. They are divided into two, moist and dry. And their areas in India, they are abundant in nature. The forest covers the different types of trees. In the teak is the dominant one. Sandalwood, Kher, Kusum, Arjun, Mulberry are the other commercial important trees. In the dry and wet, it is stating here, the varieties of birds, animals. Please go through it. I am not moving into detail because this topic number of the time I explained to you. This is the note series. So in the note revision series, you please copy down the points, so it's going to easy for you to understand about this. Next, the thorn forest and scrubs. By seeing the words, the thorn forest and like that, so where the less rainfall will be there, this type of forest will be available there. Okay, just go through the states, the areas, the rainfall and the different types of plant species as well as the animal. Mountain forest, right? The mountain forests in India are found in Himalaya, where the mountains are there. You can see about the height, different types of trees like pine, deodar, silver fir, right? Next, animals living in that. Okay, Next, moving further, mangrove forest. Mangrove forests are also called as tidal forest. Please check out the slide. Next, sixth point is speaking about the Royal Bengal tiger. Is a famous animal which is also our national animal. In Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta, Sundari trees are there. That's why the Sundarban Delta name is there. Moving further, wildlife. Like flora, India is also rich in its fauna. Already in our first slide, I talked about this one. These facts and figures, you have to remember this. For multiple choice question or one sentence question answers, in that you have to write this. About the animals, in which part of India which animals are there. Please go through it properly. How the question will come, this I told you already. About the MCQ, multiple choice question can become, or write a short note on India's diverse wildlife. So for that, these points are going to be very valuable to write it. This much percent in the world, this much percent of fish, right? All the 6 points, please see it carefully. Next, seventh is talking about the elephant. Eighth is talking about the arid area of Run of Kutch. Third, deserts are the habitat of wild ass, camel respectively. Okay. Next, sorry, the same points are repeated 2 times. Then the natural habitat of Indian lion is at Gir forest, that is situated in Gujarat. Next, about the birds. And this slide is representing all about the causes of main threat to the nature, hunting by greed and all. These points are common. Please go through it. Next, conservation, protection, flora and fauna. These points to be highlighted more. That's why I am taking these points. So, these 4 points first we are going to see. The government has taken number of the steps to protect the flora and fauna. For that, 14 bioreserves has been set up in the country to preserve and protect them. Which are they? They are mentioned here. Next, B point. Financial and technical assistance is provided to many botanical gardens by the government since 1992. Just like the Project Tiger, Project Rhino, Project Great Indian Busters and many other eco-development projects have been introduced and initiated by the Government of India to protect flora and fauna. The D point is speaking about this number of the national park and this number of wildlife sanctuary and zoology parks are being set up to take care of the natural heritage. So 89 national park and 49 wildlife sanctuaries are being set. Next, last slide is speaking to you about the migrating birds. Some of the wetlands of the India are popularly with the migrating birds. During winter, such birds as a Siberian crane come in large number. So like that, you can understand about the different birds are migrating from one place to another. Maybe the process may be breeding or some else. So for that particular season, they are living in India and after that they are moving. So this whole revision part is over. The last point for this is to write the revision in a systematic way so the chapter can be crystal clear to you. Thanking to each and everyone. Be safe and secure at your home. Jai Hind to one and all.